In just 8 days, we're getting the new weapon, the Spear. And so I have 12 tips so you can be best prepared. This will help you significantly if you decide you actually want to switch to using Spear. But otherwise, if you want to take advantage of this update, you can make a lot of extra Lucent with the correct preparations. Tip number 1 is alternate characters. The easiest way to max out the new Spear is to simply create a new character, as the amount of resources you get through the adventure and exploration codex is really substantial, on top of being able to do Tadel's Tower all over again, getting those bonus rewards. But this won't be for everybody, and keep in mind you can only have 2 characters per region. Tip number 2, skill conversion. You're going to need these books. You'll simply get 10 per month through the battle pass. Other than that, you should get 24 by leveling up. It will be up to you how serious you are about playing Spear, so make sure you find that out first before you start converting any skills. I will do my best to help with that with overview and test videos as soon as this weapon is released. Tip number 3, skill growth books. In order to level up your skills, you're going to need the quality ones, the rare, and the precious. For every single skill, you're going to need 27 green ones, 24 blues, and 42 purples. On average, again, you'll get a ton of those growth books through leveling with the adventure. Another load through exploration. You can buy some every month with ornate coins, along with getting them as rewards through the battle pass. Other than that, you need to craft them. And for that, you need a lot of different materials depending on the quality. You can see a breakdown right here on where to get all of those materials. Be aware if you have an excess of omnipotence parchments, you can dissolve them into normal precious parchments. Tip number 4, weapon Growthstones. If you're serious about the Spear, you will of course need to actually level that thing up when you obtain it. So make sure you're all stocked up and ready to go. You need about 100 of these in order to get to level 9. You will upgrade and trait your blue first before switching to purple. Again, if playing on a new character, you get an absolute ton of those Growthstones through Tadel's Tower, a bunch through the Codex if you haven't got those already. You can get some through the Battle Pass and from the Ornate Coin Shop. Tip number 5, Dimensional Essence Salvation. For all we know, the Spear could end up dropping in one of these 1-star dungeons. So I would highly recommend saving up some of this salvation so you can craft the Spear if it is available. Tip number 6, gear pouches. You'll get a bunch through the Ornate Coin Shop. And after that, it's mainly your abyssal contracts. Again, it is very likely the Spear gets added somewhere here. So saving them, opening them, getting them, and then being able to sell those items can probably be very valuable to make extra Lucent. If not, to just get the Spear you want. Tip number 7, blank lithographs. You want to get a bunch of these. On purple and maybe even on blue. You will run dungeons, open pouches. Wherever they may drop, you will then be able to convert it to a lithograph and sell it for thousands and thousands, especially early on. Tip number 8, trait unlock stones. It might be super expensive to unlock the trait on a good Spear that you obtain, and so having them could save a ton of Lucent. You get quite a lot through the Battle Pass. You can get more through the Lithograph book. You can even craft them using your soul shards. You will get a bunch through your weekly missions, and even doing your mystic keys. Tip number 9, trait conversion stones. If you say get a Spear you like, but it had a bad trait, you can use those conversion stones to potentially get a different trait. You can get some through the Gate of Infinity, some by chance with mystic keys, but the main source from your guild merchant. Tip number 10, trait extraction stones. In order to make a lot of Lucent here, you're going to want those extraction stones for any Spears that you obtain to be able to sell that trait. It will depend, of course, on what Spear you actually get and how much that will sell for. You can get bonus extraction stones through the Gate of Infinity, doing your Codex, your Mystic Portals and Globes, through the Ornate Coin Shop, and the main source is generally your contract coin merchant. Tip number 11, farm an absolute ton of Sollant. You're going to need it for upgrading, enchanting making skill books and all that. Generally the best way is doing your open world dungeons here, using your bird egg custard, your abundance fruit. Yes, they stack 80%, and you can do your resistant contracts. That brings us to the final tip 12, weapon mastery. The spear is going to have its own mastery tree. We don't know exactly what yet, and we do know next year that we'll be reworking the entire system. But for now, it's going to be like this, and you're going to want to get those points. So in order to get that weapon mastery, I recommend saving up your contracts so you have 60 of them. You can do them the day before, the due expires in 24 hours, and then use all that due while having a spear equipped, and you'll gain a ton of mastery points. Be aware, as part of the battle pass, you can also buy 50 more contract rights. So you should be able to get an absolute ton of due just before the spear is released. From there, you again need to farm your open world dungeons, use your golden apple pie, and your mastery report for extra 80%. And that's pretty much it. On a last note, while you are doing those resistant contracts, I do highly recommend generally always going for the ones that have rare parchment, as that's generally the thing that you get most stuck on. Parchment for getting those skill growth books. And since farming Sollant and weapon mastery revolves around open world dungeons, it would be advisable to save the abyssal contracts so you're at 20,000, so you can already jump into those open world dungeons to immediately start farming the mobs with it to get the mastery points on it. Same with your dungeons, you might be very well advised to save them up to reach the maximum caps, and when these dungeons come out, and if the spear gets released in any of them, you could farm that dungeon, get the drop, and sell it for a ton of Lucent. Especially also with the fact Torture Chamber of Screams will be coming at the same time, and it will be dropping everything from this chest, which can be a lot more expensive right now than these other items because of the fact you can't really farm them that easily. And again, this current battle pass will end just before the spear is released, so make sure you're taking advantage of these different things, including Abyss Charge Stones, more Abyss contract tokens which you can use to farm with your spear, and then even more dimensional contract token points to farm even more dungeons. These items go in your inventory when you buy them, so you can wait before you actually use them, but sure, they do have a timer, 36 days, so make sure you are actually using them at some point. Ultimately, the spear update is going to be massive. We have a whole load of other content coming too. The 5th 2-star dungeon, Dimensional Trials, the new rune system, that's what potentially this slot is for. Gemstone skill. But ultimately, if you have any tips you'd like to add, feel free to leave them in the comments below. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.